This is Mrs. Robertson, and I'm making this recording in my third period class. We're going to pick up on the worksheet where we left off yesterday. The packet looks like this: Math 7 review for quarter 3 common assessment. The first 6 questions are not on this year's common assessment. We had gone over a couple of the pages, and we are at the bottom of the second page, the trapezoid. Okay, so we had found the perimeter of the shape, and we're ready to find 1/3 of the perimeter. Well, you just divide it by 3. So if you have 22 2/10 divided by 3, yes, you will be allowed to use a calculator on the test. And the answer you get is what? 7 4/10. So 1/3 would be 7 4/10 centimeters. Now, the shape is a trapezoid. What, hon? Oh, they're making, yeah, we need to stop the humming sound. It's hard for us to concentrate. Now, this is a trapezoid, and you need to know the formula for the area of a trapezoid. Kids, on your 6th grade I-Learn test, they do not give you formulas. You do have to have them memorized for the 6th grade I-Learn test. So the formula for a trapezoid is height times B1 plus B2 divided by 2. That's the formula for the area of a trapezoid. So let's substitute. This would be your B1 or B2. It doesn't matter. They are your parallel sides. Your B1 and B2 are the parallel sides, and the height is the perpendicular distance between the parallel sides. So the formula is 3.1 is the height times 6 3/10 plus 8 8/10. Now, if you kids are using a calculator, it does not know order of operations or parentheses. So you can't just plug in and not do your adding your parenthesis part first. So here you're going to do your parenthesis part first. When you add these two together, you get 15 1/10. Is that what you have? So you're going to take 3 1/10 times 15 1/10 and then divide it by 2, and that will give you your answer. So I'm going to do that right now. When I multiply, I get 46 81/100 divided by 2, 23 405 thousandths. It didn't say round, so keep it exact, kids. 23 405 thousandths centimeters squared because it's area. Any questions on the trapezoid? Okay, let's go to the next page. Surface area formula. The surface area formula is 2 times length times width plus 2 times length times height plus 2 times width times height. So 2 times 6 times 4 plus 2 times 6 times 3 plus 2 times 4 times 3. And then I add those together and get the answer. Another thing, when you do this in a calculator, you do all the multiplications and then you go back and add the answers together. If you don't do that, you're going to get the wrong answer. So here we have 24 times 2 is what? 48 plus 36 plus 24, and when you add those together, that's what? 60. Did you get 108 inches cubed? 108 inches cubed. Now, 60% of the surface area. Just change your percent to a decimal and multiply. So it's 0.6 times 108. And when you multiply 108 times 6/10, that will give you 60%. 64 8/10. 64 and 8/10 inches squared. I should have said squared. That's surface area, not cubed. Inches squared. Now, the volume is length times width times height. So when you take 6 times 4, it's 24. And 24 times 3 will give you the answer 72. And this is inches cubed for volume. Any questions on that? Okay, now for number 19, the volume formula. Well, it's the area of the base times the height. Here, what's our base shape in a cylinder? Yeah.
It's a circle.
A circle. So it's going to be pi r squared, that's the formula for a circle, times the height. Okay? So 3.14 times 3 squared is 9 times 8. And then the answer you are going to get times 9 times 8, 226 and 8/100 centimeters cubed. Any questions on that? Surface area. Okay, when you find the surface area of a cylinder, you are going to have 2 circles and a rectangle. All right, each circle is pi r squared. So you have 2 pi r squared plus, that's the circles, we have to find the area of the rectangle. And this is pi times diameter, it's the circumference of a circle, times the height, plus pi d times the height. Now, on the last test that you took, some of you did not do this, and then do this, and then add the answers together, because when you used your calculator, you didn't do multiplication before you added. So, let's do that right now. Let's do our substitution. 2 times 3.14 times my radius squared, 9, plus 3.14. If the radius is 3, what's the diameter? 6. Times 6 times 8. Then you write these answers down and add them together. So let's do that right now. 3.14 times 2 times 9. Did you get 56 and 52/100? Plus 3.14 times 6 times 8, 150 and 72/100. Does that sound right? So when I add those together, the surface area of this shape is 207 and 24/100 centimeters squared. Any questions on how to do that? All right, in the next one, you have to find the mean, median, mode, and range of the data set. Well, to do the mean, you add them all together. I'm going to first do the median. I like to put them in order from little to big first. So I have 1, 2 2s, 1 3, 2 4s, 1 5, 1 6, 1 7, 1 8, and 1 9. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. All right, so now I'm going to add them together and divide by 10. So what did you get for the sum when you added these together? Yes. What did you get?
When I added them together,
Yeah.
I got 50 when I added them together.
You got 50?
Yeah.
Did everyone else get 50? Yeah. So you have 50 when you add them together. So 50 divided by 10 gives you a mean of 5. All right. Here, the median, we have two middle numbers. When you have two middle numbers, you add them together and divide by 2. 4 plus 5 is 9. Divided by 2 is 4.5. Most of you know between 4 and 5, it's 4.5, right? The mode, there are two modes. What are the modes in this one?
4 and 2.
Right, 2 and 4. And the range is 9 minus 2. So the range is 7. Any questions on that? Now on the next one, it says find the volume of the composite solid. All right, so you find the volume of this box, you find the volume of that box, and add them together. So the volume of the top box is 9 centimeters. I don't know what the 1 is doing there. 9 by, oh wait, no, that's the bottom. It's 5 by 2, and this length is the same as this length, and is that a 4? Okay, so that is 5 times 2 times 4. 5 times 2 is 10, times 4 is 40 centimeters cubed. This is volume. Now I find the volume of the big box. Oh, I guess this is shape 1 and shape 2. That's what the 1 and 2 are doing there. This is 9 times 3 times 4. So the area, the volume of the bigger box, 9 times 3 times 4. And when you do that, you get 108 centimeters cubed. Now, find the volume. You add them together, and the total volume, 148 centimeters cubed. Any questions on that? Okay, let's go. Oh, that was it for this worksheet then, wasn't it? Okay, so now I'm going to give you your next worksheet. I'm going to give you some time to work on it, and then we'll go over some of the answers in just a little while on the next work. All right, class, let's go over the answers to the Math 7 Quarter 3 review, equations, inequalities, and some statistics. These are things that we're going to go over on your paper. All right, so in number 1, your equation should be 3x plus 3 equals 48. Subtract 3, divide both sides by 3, x equals 15. In number 2, this one, it was just easier to get the answer than try to write an equation. So as long as you have a variable, I would consider it an equation. 2 times the number of Trina's points. Well, Trina scored 9 points, so twice means 2 times 9 is 18, and then Rachel had 6 less than that. So 18 minus 6 is 12, so the answer is 12 to number 2. That is, Rachel scored 12 points. In number 3, you subtract 9 with integers. It's negative 2 plus negative 9 is negative 11. In number 4, you add 10. 24 equals y. In number 5, subtract 3. 2 equals x. In number 6, you add 26 to both sides. Negative 21 plus a 26 is 5. T equals 5. In number 7, divide both sides by 7. 84 divided by 7 is 12. 12 is the answer to that one. In number 8, divide both sides by 6, and you end up with the answer of 2. F equals 2. In number 9, that said x divided by 4 equals negative 1. To undo division, you multiply both sides by 4, and negative 1 times positive 4 is negative 4. Be very careful on your negative signs. Question. Do you have a question? Okay. All right. In number 10, here you have to first get rid of a negative 2. You add 2 to both sides. You then have 4/5 x equals 8. Then you multiply both sides by 5/4. 4 goes into 4 once. 4 divides 8 twice. So then when you multiply, 2 times 5 is 10. You get 10 over 1, or x equals 10. In number 11, you multiply both sides by 3/2. 4 over 1 times 3/2 will give you 12 over 2, which equals 6, or you can simplify before you multiply. Then we have the bottom one. This one's not hard, but it's a little tricky. All right, the length of each side of a square was increased by 6. So notice what I did. I drew a square, and I put x plus 6, x plus 6, x plus 6, x plus 6. Do you see that? Now I'm going to, the perimeter means add all your sides. So I have x plus 6 plus x plus 6, and that equals 52. All right, because it said it increased it to 52. What was the length of the original side? So I just have to figure out what x is. So I combine my like terms. I have 4 x's, so 4x plus 4 6's is 24 equals 52. Do you see how I'm getting this answer? Some of you aren't looking at this problem and you won't know how to get it. Now, I subtract 24 from both sides, and I will have 4 times x equals, that turns into a 4, 28. Divide both sides by 4, and I get the answer x equals 7. So originally, what is the original length of each side of the square? 7 inches. Any questions? Yes?
Do you have to do it that way? Because I did it a different way and I got the same answer.
This, there is another way of doing it. This is just one that's very concrete and easy for everyone to see how to do it. Okay. Now, let's go to the next page. In number 12, you should have 1 2/3. 5/3 simplifies to 1 2/3. You multiplied both sides by 2 over 1. In number 13, you subtract 3, and when you add the opposite, negative 29 plus negative 3 is negative 32. Then you divide both sides by a negative 8. Negative divided by negative is positive 4. X equals positive 4. In number 14, you subtract 1. And when you subtract, you add the opposite. Negative 11 plus negative 1 is negative 12. Then divide both sides by 3. X equals negative 4. In number 15, you have to do the distributive property. 5 6 times x and 5 6 times 4. You then have 5 6x plus 5 6 times 4 over 1. And then I did the work over here because it just didn't give me enough space. 5 6 times 4 over 1 gave me 20 over 6. So then I subtracted 26 from both sides, which I changed it to an improper or a mixed number of 3 1/3. So 15 minus 3 1/3 is 11 2/3. Then I changed it back to an improper fraction. 33 plus 2 is 35/3. All right, that's what I did there. Then I multiplied by the reciprocal 6/5. That was friendly because 5 goes into 5 once. 5 will go into 35 7 times. 3 goes into 3 once. 3 goes into 6 2 times. So 7 times 2 is 14. 1 times 1 is 1. And I end up with x equals 14 over 1, or 14. And there's the answer for that problem. Number 16, divide by 3/10, and the answer is not 2, but 20. Any questions? Inequalities. In number 17, subtract 6. You get x is less than negative 1. C. In this one, you multiply both sides by negative 2. Now, when you multiply or divide by a negative number, your inequality sign flips. Y is greater than or equal to negative 6. G. And the last one here, you subtract 6. So then you have 2/3 A is greater than -6. Multiply both sides by 3/2, and you end up with -3 times 3 is -9. A is greater than -9. Any questions on the inequality problems? Everyone okay on those? Great. Number 20, in this one, I solved it down below. I add 4 to both sides. -1 plus 4 is 3. So the answer is B is greater than or equal to 3, and that is F. Are there any questions on these problems?
No.
Okay, let's go to the other page. Okay, there are several questions about box plots. All right, so in a box plot, everyone knows in the box there's a line that cuts it into 2 pieces. That's called the median. Now, the median is not always in the center of the box, is it? No, it isn't, but it's somewhere in the box is the median. So this is the median, and that's the median. This would give you your range. This is your maximum, that's your minimum. So let's put minimum, max, just so you know what the pieces are. This is your Q1, this is Q3, all right, and this is your median. Median is known as your Q2, but median is the same thing as a Q2. So those are the things, whenever you talk about minimum is your lowest value, maximum is your highest, then you have that. Now, your IQR, what's your IQR, your interquartile range? Yes.
It's the range between the quartiles.
Yes, it's the size of your box. So it's Q3 minus Q1. And that would give you your IQR, your interquartile range, okay? So in number 1, which class had a greater range of scores? Well, that is the room 240. Which has the more predictable score? Well, that would be room 300 because it's not as spread out. What is the difference of the median scores? Well, 85 minus 75 is 10. Any questions on that? How would an outlier of 10% affect the scores from room 300? Well, it would greatly affect the mean, making it lower. It would greatly affect the range, making the range larger, and the median would have little effect. Okay? Yes. Mitch. No, but you know how they say they do choose all that are true? I just want you to know when it says choose all that are true, sometimes it's more than one. All right, sometimes it's not, but sometimes it is. So always look at different things to see if it's a true statement. In number 4, the mean, when I added them together, I had 297. Divided by 12, I have 24 and 75/100. Is that what you kids got too? Did anyone else get that? Okay, good. I see a couple hands. They had that. My median is 26. There were 2 middle numbers. I add them together, divide by 2. There is no mode. They all occurred the same number of times. And the range, 55 minus 0 is 55. Any questions on that? Now, if the library wanted to say that it has a high average of books borrowed, which measure of center would they use? Well, they would use the median because it's higher than the mean. Now, kids, when I looked at this graph data, this is unique because it has 3 outliers. When you look at the data, these 3 numbers are much smaller than the other numbers. Do you see that? So since they have an outlier, the median is really the better one to use here. Okay, the median, 20, look, the median is the same thing. It just looks like it would be the best one to use here is 26 on that because it better represents the higher end. All right, now let's go on and look at any questions on number 5. Okay, let's go on to problem number 6. In number 6, it says, And there is a question like this on the test. Make sure you know how to do it. Find the area of a circle if the circumference is 37.68. Kids, all you have to do is find the diameter, and then from the diameter you can find the radius. So, circumference is pi times diameter. Well, if the circumference is 37.68 and pi is 3.14, we can figure out what the diameter is. Just divide both sides by 3 14/100, and 12 is your diameter. And then I always write down my radius, just to make me think, okay, I'm going to need my radius in the next one, so you don't accidentally use your diameter. So now, the area of a circle, pi r squared. So 3.14 times 6 squared, which is 36, gives you the answer of 113 400 meters squared. Any questions on that? All right, now let's go on to number 7 and 8. In number 7 and 8, 7, you had to find the surface area of this shape and the volume of this shape. All right, now I made a careless mistake when I was doing my surface area, and I'll tell you what it was in just a moment. So, you find the area of two circles, pi r squared times 2. This is the two circles, okay? Right there. That's my two circles, and I get 157. Then I have to find the area of the rectangle. It's pi times diameter times height. Now remember, when we have a net of this shape, pi times diameter gives you this length, and then you have to take it times the height, which is 4. Well, when I did it the first time, I forgot to take it times the height, the 4. So the diameter is 10. 3.14 times 10 times 4 gives you 125 6/10. Add those together, two circles plus the rectangle gives you 282 6/10 meters squared. Any questions on how to get that answer? Go back and double check to make sure you do all of the parts. Now the volume is the area of the base, pi r squared, times the height. So the base is a circle, 3.14 times 25. The distance between the circles is 4. When you multiply that, you get 314 meters cubed. Are there any questions on that problem? Okay, now I'm going to stop there. I will give you the rest of the answers tomorrow before we take the test, but it's just about time for class to be over. When you go to the back, kids, really be careful. This is pretty important. This is what we're going to go over before you take the test tomorrow. How to graph inequalities, the areas of circles, and also multi-step equations with integers. Be very careful. Any questions? No. Have a great day.